The Atlanta Hawks, man. I could start this video with so many different things. And you know what? You know what I'm gonna start with? I'm gonna start this video by saying I was right, and all of these Hawks fans were wrong. I'm not going to say all of them, but 90% of Hawks fans just hated DeAndre Hunter throughout the entire season. And I'm going to admit, he made some dumb plays, but so did every single player on this team has made some dumb plays. Come playoff time, he is the only one to for real show up. There were some players who tried. Kevin Huerter gave it his all. Okongwu, when he was playing minutes, tried at least. But for the most part, DeAndre Hunter was the only player who actually looked like he belonged in the league. Shout out to Trae Young for completely diminishing every NBA fan's eyes or brains of what we thought he was in the playoffs, because I'm not even exaggerating. I think that has to be the worst superstar play in NBA history in a playoff series. And I don't think I'm far off. I think that's worse than LeBron in 2011. Given, obviously, that was the finals, and this is the first round. We weren't expected to win. So it's a bit different. But I'm just saying, if you just go off stat lines, has to be the worst. I mean, he had eight more total turnovers than field goals made. That's absolutely crazy. But I mean, it was it was a decent season. You know, we got what did we get? Ninth seed? I think it was ninth seed. We won both games of the play-in tournament, even with Clint Capella going. Man, can I talk about Clint Capella? When we were playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, he, I think gets beat off like a pump fake or something. I forget how, but pretty much Evan Mobley's going up for a layup, and Clint Capella drags him down, and that's how Clint Capella gets injured, and pretty much costs us game 1 through 3. We won game 3, but still, he wasn't there for any of the first 3 games. And then in game 5 versus the Heat, he does the same thing. He tries to drag someone's shoulders down on a layup, which I forget if he got a flagrant or not, but eventually he got hurt again. Man, karma keeps up with you. Don't mess with karma. Like Clint Capella, you are just an idiot. I feel like a lot of players on this Atlanta Hawks team are just idiots. They're talented, like Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella. They're just all idiots, and it's so infuriating. But I hope that, at least with Hunter and Huerter, that grows with, age and development. I think Clint Capella's already kind of in his prime, but he can still learn to just stop being an idiot. Man, in one of my videos, I had this team as the number 1 seed. I mean, and I still believe that I should have thought. I mean, maybe number 1 seed is a stretch, but I mean, we just went off of an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. We got DeLon Wright, an actual backup point guard, because last year our backup point guard was Lou Williams, who was, I mean, fine as a backup shooting guard next to DeLon, but I don't know. And we just disappointed. I mean, we were one of the most, screwed COVID teams. We were signing 2-3 rotational players like Lance Stevenson and Chaundee Brown, and just players who really shouldn't even be getting minutes. But man, it's so hard. Okay, if you go back in NBA history and you think about the amount of non-defensive point guards, or you think about like all of the offensive point guards in NBA history, none of them are really at Finals MVPs or these champions. We really need a second guy next to Trae, which is why, man, Travis Schlenk, who's I mean, if non-Hawks fans are watching, he's the GM. Has just been a complete failure. Like, I had so much hype, going into the 2017 draft. We got John Collins. Okay, actually, I forget when. Has Schlenk been a GM for a long time? I forget, but whatever. The 2018 draft, he gets Trae at 5. We trade away Luka. I still am mad about that, but whatever. We get Kevin Huerter at 19, really good. Everyone kind of compared him to Clay. Obviously, the defense was never going to be there, at least to Clay's level of All NBA. But he was a good pick. And the next year, we get DeAndre Hunter, a good 3-and-D wing who just won the championship at Virginia. And then we get Cam Reddish at 10. Cam Reddish looks like a prospect with really good potential. I still don't even know what happened with Cam Reddish, because apparently he requested a trade right after the playoff run, which, I mean, look at him now. He's not going to be getting nearly the role that he got on the Hawks with the Knicks. But we kind of messed that up because 2 picks later, I'm pretty sure that draft overall had a lot of good players near that area. There was I think there was, no, Mikal Bridges was the year before. I don't know. But yeah, Tyler Herro was 2 picks after. I don't know about that fit with Trae, but just if you talk about skill and talent, we really missed. The next year at pick 6, we get Onyeka Okongwu and decide to just bench him. We just bench him because we got Capella. And that's just kind of weird because we know Okongwu has the potential. But if you just watch these games, he doesn't have the chemistry of closing games. He doesn't have the chemistry of, catching lobs from Trae Young. He doesn't really get that many minutes with Trae Young. So when Clint Capella went down, he didn't know what to do. So how are we supposed to develop these young players if I don't get it. Why can't we just try to be, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think a lot of players should be gone in this offseason. Oh, I don't even want to mention the fact that we draft, you know, players with potential to not play them. Why didn't we just go for a defensive like guard or wing, that played 3 or 4 years in college so that he can make the rotation instead of Jalen Johnson, who I think has a lot of potential, but we're just not going to play him. We're going to send him to the Skyhawks. Sharif Cooper, okay, whatever. It's a late second rounder. I'm pretty sure he's just going to leave in the offseason. I wouldn't blame him. I definitely do not want Trae Young in our game in a Atlanta Hawks game, and then the second he checks out is Sharif Cooper. Like we would just get abused defensively. Which also leads me to my next point. We need another superstar, but we also need more defenders. Like, I want to blame Nate McMillan, and he deserves a lot of blame. I'm not even sure I'll get to it because it's kind of a waste of time blaming Nate McMillan. Just like I'm not really going to go into blaming Trae Young because they're going to be here next season. I feel like as Hawks fans, let's talk about the players that should leave, and there's two of them that I really think should leave. One being Gallinari. He's always been awful in the playoffs, as good as he was in that last 20 game stretch in the regular season. But he needs to go. We need a defensive four. And or even just Jalen Johnson could immediately back him up. Jalen Johnson is going to give like the same thing John Collins does, which I wouldn't mind if John Collins leaves, but honestly, I think he's going to stay, and I wouldn't mind him staying. As long as, I don't know, I feel like he needs to get a bigger role in the offense, but I don't really care either way. Second guy, Bogdan, okay? I'm tired of going through these playoff runs, and Bogdan's either hurt and out or hurt and playing through the injury, so he's playing terrible, and we're getting him, like $18 million. Let's just get rid of him. Let's trade him. I feel like a lot of teams need a Bogdan, a sixth man, or even a starting shooting guard who could just shoot the lights out. Let's get some defense. And what I hate about us never drafting defenders, which, I mean, we actually did, if you think about it, but Cam Reddish didn't really seem to pan out. Onyeka Okongwu hasn't been getting the reps and all that. Defenders have a lot of trade value, and it's kind of hard to trade for them, and they never really want to leave their team because teams want to extend them so much. So I feel like drafting is the best way to get defenders, and we didn't do that in this draft, or last year's draft, I guess. I hope this draft, we just trade Bogdan maybe for like a good pick. Let's try and get a really good defensive prospect like Agbaji. I'm pretty sure he's a really good defensive prospect. I don't know. We just need to do something. A little small part of me wishes that we had that small 5% chance of getting a top 4 pick and winning the lottery instead of winning our play-in games. But oh well, that's kind of past. We need to get rid of Bogdan and Gallinari. I'm fine keeping obviously Hunter. Hunter's my guy. I love Hunter. Herter. I'm fine keeping Herter because he's available more than Bogdan. He's cheaper than Bogdan. He's younger than Bogdan. More potential than Bogdan. Everything just says let's just keep Herter. He's been here since 18. That's kind of why I'm also saying let's keep John Collins. I don't want to leave the guy who's tenured here the most. But yeah, Nate McMillan needs to be better. Yeah, teams don't. If you don't have a top 10 defense or an all defensive player on your team, you're not going to win a championship. That's just how it works. I'm pretty sure it's only happened twice in NBA history. We're not going to be that exception. Or at least I wouldn't count on us being the exception. But even then, I mean, from now on, I think I'm just going to watch Hawks games with the expectation that we are not going to win. We're not going to win at all. I'm going to have fun watching them, and I'm going to hope that we go as far as we can, but I'm never going to have the expectation of winning the next round because I don't know. Trae Young, great player, but we need this is a wing-oriented league. You look at LeBron, Tatum, KD, like this league is run by wings, and being a guard, besides, unless your name is Stephen Curry, who is the obvious exception, yeah, you're not winning. And even Stephen Curry had the greatest coaching system, the greatest defenders around him, the greatest, defensive juggernaut of a team, which we're never going to get. We're never going to have that type of coaching. I feel like that type of coaching only like 10 out of the 30 coaches get, and we would just have to pretty much and I understand a lot of people say fire your coach, but are you really going to get something better for your current coach? You never know that because so many teams try and get a different coach. I don't know. I'm not sure how long this rant has been going for. Yeah, it's probably been about 9 minutes. So I'm just gonna wrap it up saying we need changes. Okay, we cannot run the exact same thing back, or I'm just not gonna watch the games. I really hope Hunter turns into an all-star next season. I thought he was gonna take that jump last year, or I guess this year. He got injuries. I really hope he doesn't get hurt. But I will say the one good thing about this offseason is everyone is healthy. Last year Hunter was hurt, Okongwu was hurt. Now our players can develop. I really hope we give a Kungwu like, even though I think Capella's the better center right now, Kungwu does have more potential for eventually when people want to switch 1 through 5. Even though, will that ever even be a system when you have Trae Young in your team? Man, why do we have to have? I'm not going to get into why I wanted Luka. Oh, I'm kidding. Okay, please comment what we should do. If you're a Hawks fan, say, hey, I'm a Hawks fan, I think we should do this. If you're not a Hawks fan, say, hey, I'm not a Hawks fan, but we should do this. I feel like context is really going to help me. I'm going to be reading all the comments. Trust me. Like, I want to know what people think of our team, what people think we should change. I think we should get rid of Gallinari, Bogdan, and one of Collins or Capella, personally. But if we don't get rid of either of them, oh well. I mean, Capella's... I feel like the Hornets or Mavs would want Capella, so I feel like we could trade for someone more defensive, like a Josh Green, give him a chance. I don't know. But yeah, that's the video. Like it, subscribe. I promise I'll post more. I promise. I keep promising that, and I keep not doing it. So I'm gonna give you guys false hope again. And peace.